Good morning and welcome to Sparks. Dorian Gray is a famous novel and it was made into a movie. It's a novel about filthiness written by Oscar Wilde. The picture of Dorian Gray, the story describes a painting, a portrait of a man that ages and grows ugly to coincide with the man's life of immorality. So while the man himself remains nice, the picture in the attic and he remains handsome. The picture in the attic grows old and ugly. The movie was actually made into a book in 1945, and even then, the special effects were good enough to show us the features of a man in the portrait changing from attractiveness to revulsion. What's interesting, however, is that while the story seems to condemn such a lifestyle, Wilde himself, the man who wrote the book, was in fact trying to defend his own homosexuality. In chapter 2, for example, he writes this: "The only way to get rid of a temptation is to yield to it." In defense of his writing, which critics called immoral, he wrote in the preface, "There is no such thing as morality as a moral or immoral book. Books are well written or badly written, that's all." And the same attitude exists today when men are amoral and everything is relative. That's our society all over today. So like the character in the novel, however, Wilde's filthiness led to his ruin. In fact, after a 2-year prison term for sodomy, Wilde's health, money, fame, and eventually his writing talent was gone. Lying on his deathbed from brain inflammation, he sought peace with God by converting to Roman Catholicism. And that's where Oscar Wilde was at. But our whole world is full of this filthiness, and while we might look good on the outside while we profess these things and do these things, inside, up in the attic, the painting is growing old and ugly and full of revulsion. So sin is ugly. And it's pleasurable for a time, and then it's ugly. It's ugly for all eternity, and it will separate you from God. So today, confess your sin, get it out of the way, and live a life that's pure. Because if you think sin is fun, try holiness. Nothing beats it. We'll see you tomorrow on Sparks.